Well, here we are, live. It's been a while. I can probably explain myself. I've been working, so it's not exactly a huge shock. Yeah, man, we've got a bit of news. We've got a bit of news concerning the MCU and the Batman Part 2, which is going to be nice. But first, I do want to go into the Batman Part 2. That's kind of the first subject. So, apparently, Dr. Julian Rush, who we met in The Penguin, is the Scarecrow. Whoa! Big reveal. Big reveal, everyone. A fan on Reddit spotted in one shot in one of the episodes, the later episodes, episode 4, what looks to be a very Arkham-inspired glove. You can see in the picture below here. What we'll try and do is find the original Reddit. Where is it? One sec. Give you everything you ever wanted. Yeah, there we go. So this is my Reddit, by the way. But this is really interesting. I did at first think we're kind of reaching here, to be honest, because Julian Rush, I felt like he didn't have that energy of Jonathan Crane that I've seen in other live action interpretations and in the animated series. I haven't really read a Scarecrow comic, to be precise. But you know, and his name's Julian Rush, so why would he be Scarecrow? But this shot is really interesting, and to be honest, when I first saw it, I was a bit like, kind of reaching. I don't believe it. But the more I look into it, I mean, this is the screenshot. That is definitely a glove with nails. That I don't think is anything Scarecrow related. I have no idea what this is. But this glove, that's very foreshadowy. And it's making me think, maybe Julian isn't the Scarecrow. Maybe he's working for the Scarecrow. And maybe he's developing technologies to help Jonathan achieve his goal of scaring people. I guess I don't see him being the Scarecrow, but I could be wrong. Matt Reeves might be putting a new twist on it and getting someone else as a new character playing Scarecrow. But yeah, it's very Arkham-esque. I mean, I'll try and find a picture of the Scarecrow glove, but like, to be honest, I haven't even looked at a picture of the Scarecrow glove, but holy crap. It looks like it. Hold on, I'm trying to find something that's better. I mean, it's more like the OG Arkham Asylum nails, basically. Sorry, this takes ages to do. I don't know why. Like, just to do a screenshot and save it. And I remember the days where you could just copy stuff and then paste and everything. But I mean, it's pretty close. I mean, that's what everyone's thinking, that glove is this glove, basically. And it could be. I don't think Julian's Scarecrow, though. I think he's helping Scarecrow, if that is the case. I mean, absolutely amazing if Scarecrow is the next villain in the Batman. I think that's the favourite, to be honest. I personally want Victor Freeze. I want Mr. Freeze to be the villain. I think Matt Reeves could do a really cool grounded take on that. But let's read this Reddit post anyway. These were not there in the first scene with Julian's office, episode 2, which I do actually have a screenshot of, because I did a little bit of investigating myself, and I was like, you know, was it there before? And that is the only other shot we have of Julian's desk, and that rag is not hanging there anymore, and there's no glove over here. So where this has come from, I do not know. But I do have another theory. If Julian Rush is the Scarecrow, I have another theory why it just pops up in a later episode. But anyway, if you go and rewatch the scene in Saint-Anne, you'll notice Sophia herself briefly checks out these objects as she walks around the room. And when she's going through his desk, if you look at where her sight line actually is, it's on his desk, not in the drawer with the pills. Something interesting to note is that she's not really supposed to be there in that episode. She's only there as an accident/emergency. It seems plausible plot-wise that Julian didn't have a chance to put these things away like he perhaps normally would if he knew someone else was going to be in the office. Edit, then again, he is so manipulative, he might have left them there for her to see. That's a good point. Just food for thought that I thought this sub might appreciate. Bonus edit, for those rewatching the scene, there is also a brown, flattish, circular-ish object in the centre of his desk that I can't quite make out. It's hard to see in my screenshots below, but there are a few blinking and miss it shots of it behind where his nameplate would normally be when he and Sophia are talking. Someone's put lol down. That's 100% scarecrow shit. And again, I don't think Julian is the Scarecrow. I think he's working for the Scarecrow, if that is the case. But the other reason this stuff could have just appeared is, remember this episode, is this episode 4? Yeah. So the Penguin takes, I think it's 2 weeks or something, a couple of weeks. It's over a couple of weeks, basically. What if Julian's been out in Gotham causing absolute chaos, and then at the end of episode 8, when the bat signal comes up, it's to do with something Julian's doing? Obviously, Julian was busy in episode 8 with Sophia and helping her break Oz's mum's mind and everything, but still, something that's happened previously, could have happened that night. Also, it feels like a bit of a time skip anyway. I've just thought about that. Feels like a bit of time has passed when we revisit Oz again. Maybe like just even by a week. But he is at the top of the chain now. But it's a very interesting catch. And I think we were all looking for stuff that might kind of point towards him being the Scarecrow or Hugo Strange or anything. And there wasn't really anything that was standing out. So yeah, maybe he is the Scarecrow. But Matt Reeves hasn't said anything. James Gunn hasn't said anything. It's not really for him to say. But yeah, man, it's really interesting if that is the case. We got our first look at Scarlett Johansson in Jurassic World Rebirth. Looks like Jurassic World. I'm kind of looking forward to this, actually. And oh, what's she holding there? Some sort of injection thing. That's cool. We've also had a synopsis for Fantastic Four, set against the vibrant backdrop of a 1960s inspired retro futuristic world. The Fantastic Four introduces Marvel's first family: Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm, as they face their most daunting challenge yet. Forced to balance their roles as heroes with the strength of their family bond, they must defend Earth from a ravenous space god called Galactus and his enigmatic herald Silver Surfer. And if Galactus' plan to devour the entire planet, everyone on it weren't bad enough, it suddenly gets very personal. That sounds like the Rise of the Silver Surfer plot. That's quite doesn't sound that new, to be honest. I'm really looking forward to Fantastic Four, actually. I think they are wrapping in 2 weeks, which is going to be interesting. I'm sure we're going to get our first look by Christmas. When is it due to come out, actually? That is a really good point. Fantastic Four. Oh my god, I came across an old thumbnail of mine. Ugh. Losing the will to live there. When was that? June last year. Whoa. I have no idea when this film's coming out. 2025. First Steps, I forget it's called that. Yeah, July 2025. Is he going up against Superman? July 25th. No, Superman comes out 2 weeks earlier. Ooh. Close. That's really close. Well, in terms of Spider-Man news, this was really interesting. Wow, I've just typed in Spider-Man and I've just got a load of Twitter porn. That's quite... thank God I wasn't sharing screen. But this is from the Cosmic Circus. They've been interviewing a tabloid person who knows the ins and outs of what Sony are currently doing with their Marvel projects, and it does sound like not a lot is happening moving forward after Kraven the Hunter. There is talk, obviously, about doing a Sinister Six movie and everything, but I think Sony are waiting to see how Spider-Man 4 does. But there's a lot of talk. There is a lot of talk, and one of the main points is that Charlie Cox's Daredevil, obviously the TV show Born Again is coming out soon, and they're trying to get the rights or some sort of deal for Tom Holland as Spider-Man to appear in the show. And I don't think Daredevil Born Again comes out till, I think it's March, isn't it? It's quite a while. Actually, it's not quite a while. It's quite soon. But there's a full article of it on Cosmic Circus, and I've not read any of this. But so talking about Kraven the Hunter is currently the last Sony live-action Spider-Man spin-off. Alex Perez, that's his name. The thing with Sony is they're always thinking of ways to make a profit off their Spider-Man character rights when they can't wriggle their way out of the deal they have with Marvel and use Spider-Man in their films. So they do the best they can by trying to utilize a character that's Spider-Man's adjacent and attach a highly marketable set of actors that can promote. I mean, they get that right all the time. They got, I mean, who did they get for Madam Web? They got Dakota Johnson, who's a pretty good actor, but terrible film, and Sydney Sweeney, or whatever her name is. But it was a terrible film, like it was awful. But it's because they reshot it and recut it, so it got rid of the element of Spider-Man, because there was a Spider-Man element of it where basically, I forget his name, forget the villain's name, the evil Spider-Man tries to kill young Peter Parker because he's from the future. That was the original intention. But I think Marvel just got in a big fuss about it and was just like, no, you're not doing that. There's talk of characters like Silver Sable, Black Cat, Sandman, Rhino, Chameleon, and Scorpion all had pitches and ideas for movies. Just now they're thinking about Agent Venom, which is interesting one for a movie. And I remember the time when Sony was investing in doing Spider-adjacent films like Jessica Drew's Spider-Woman and Spider-Man 2099, but they were put on ice. I think Spider-Verse has just been so successful utilising those characters, though. It's like, what is the point of doing a solo movie if people are just liking them in that animation form in the Spider-Verse? Even though Beyond the Spider-Verse is not sounding great at the moment. Spider-Man 4 and Beyond. Alex Perez has said, I do expect the symbiote to play a role here near the end of the multiverse saga, as I explained in my theory. So this is mainly a theory. I wouldn't be surprised if we get Null. Is it Null or Canol? Is if Spider-Man died at some point in the Avengers films and was brought back thanks to the symbiote creating a new codex for Null to hunt down. I've not seen Venom 3. I have no interest in Venom 3. In the cinemas, anyway. But, you know, there's loads of talk. And Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, I kind of explained earlier how they were planning on treating their appearances in future films as legacy appearances that incorporate them as part of the story and add on to their legacy as a character. Not really a sort of package deal appearance here, at least not to my knowledge. So I think it's more likely Andrew Garfield will come back as Spider-Man than Tobey Maguire. I think that's a given. Because Tobey Maguire is just really, really expensive, and I guess has grown out the character slightly. I don't think he was ever a big fan of the character as well, but Andrew Garfield loves Spider-Man, and he's seen the love he was getting when No Way Home came out and everything, and the positive reaction to that. So, of course, Sony are going to try and get Garfield back. I wouldn't even worry about Maguire, but again, if we see him in Secret Wars or a future Spider-Man project, great. So Tom Holland is going to be the main lead in Avengers Secret Wars, by the sounds of it. Or one of the main leads. He's going to be the main lead in Doomsday. That's a given. But this is the interesting bit. So Alex Perez has said, I really wouldn't know. I know they are trying to get him to appear in a short cameo in Daredevil Born Again as a tease that Fisk and his Punishers are hunting vigilantes like him down, but I don't know if it'll pan out that will physically see him. I mean, just put anybody in that Spider-Man costume. Get Tom Holland for an hour to do some ADR. You're sorted. But I know it's all contracts and all that bollocks and everything. But Venom 3 is kind of the final straw with Venom, it sounds like, with Sony. I completely lost interest in the Venom character. I was interested as a kid, but as an adult, when the first film came out, I had no interest in seeing it. I didn't go and see it. And then I watched the film and I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was really good. And then I saw the second Venom and I really didn't enjoy that. Hence why I'm not going to see the third Venom. But yeah, Spider-Man is in a weird place at the moment because obviously Tom Holland's come out and said it was like really difficult to decide if he was going to continue playing the character, if he was going to want to pass the baton on. But I feel with Robert Downey Jr. returning and, you know, the Avengers, 2 Avengers films coming up, it's like a no-brainer to kind of maybe wrap up your story with those films. But we'll see. I'm trying to figure out what Marvel film I'm really excited for. I think Daredevil Born Again is kind of the one I'm hoping is really good. I hope it surprises me as much as Penguin does, but it is a Marvel TV show. I don't know. Agatha blew me out of the water. I was like, whoa. I didn't, because I was one of the people like, why are we getting a show about Agatha? And I get it. I love the whole Coven of whatever it is, Agatha All Along. I love that show. And it was just really relaxing to watch, weirdly. It was really nice to watch. And my wife really enjoyed it as well. And we were watching it every Thursday. And I was so happy they did the double episode for the final. Because to be honest, if that was the last episode we saw, that last one on its own, I would have probably been disappointed. But because you get 2 at the same time, I was like, I really enjoyed this. So yeah. I think I'm getting ill. I've just suddenly... I think I've got an ear infection. I want to watch this Boba Talks video. Not for too long, but obviously he was the one that was kind of spreading the rumour about Scarecrow. And I really like Boba Talks. I think he's a really cool guy. But basically, what I'm guessing happens in this video is that he's talking about the Scarecrow. You know, the pictures that came out, you know, the screenshot of Dr. Julian Rush's office, what seems to be a Scarecrow-esque glove in the office. I don't think Julian is the Scarecrow, but I think he might be working for him. If this is the case, if that glove is something Scarecrow related, I think Julian could be working for him or with him. And, you know, trying out new technologies and everything. But let's watch Boba's video. And to be honest, this is probably going to be the last thing. I'm not doing a long stream tonight. So let's have a watch. I mean, I won't say it now, but what Matt Reeves says is really, really interesting. What they're doing with Batman, because you think by the end of the first film he's kind of found his footing in a way. Batman, that is Bruce Wayne, but in reality, he might struggle. That is just so obviously a hand. It just is. It is. It's a glove. Hang on. No, that says Julian Rush. I mean, yeah, of course it's completely his fault. But that's what Bruce learns by the end of the film, is that he's doing it all wrong. And he saw, when he saved those people in the gardens, the sort of symbol he should be. It shouldn't just be about striking fear. It's also about hope and everything. But I think Bruce is going to struggle with this new identity, because he is going to have to take on a new identity as Batman. And again, I think that's where they can visually do something different with the suit, kind of tone it down a little, like add a little splash of colour in there, you know, that sort of stuff. But mentally, for Bruce, it was his fault. Like, not directly, but he is sort of responsible for the birth of the Riddler and his followers. Because if anything, they looked up to Batman. They thought he was part of their clan and everything. But you know, he made a mistake, and when he beat up that guy, and that guy says, "I'm vengeance," Bruce realizes in that moment, "Oh no, I've been doing this all wrong. Project Gotham Year 2 has been a fail." So he has to completely be something else now, or learn to be something else. I think it's going to be so interesting, man. And I was hoping for a slight time skip for the Batman Part 2, but I actually like how it's all sort of a continuous timeline, and I hope that follows through until the final part 3, if there is going to be a part 3. Even with the TV shows and everything, I think they should all happen next to each other, but in the correct timeline. It shouldn't be like a year later or 6 months earlier or whatever. Like, I like that it's like a continuous story and there's no prequels or anything. I mean, with the Riddler, I mean, Riddler Year One, if you've not read the comic, you're missing out because it perfectly shows Edward's mind looking at the Batman and everything, actually quite inspired by him. And it is, well, I don't want to say it, but it's like Joker Folie à Deux. How Arthur inspired the city of Gotham to be like the Joker, and it's fine, killing these rich people and everything. Like, it's fine to fight back against a system. But, yeah. But that's one of the things. That's one of the things I had a problem with the Penguin. It was probably the only thing, is that there was no awareness of Batman. Like, there was no, I don't know, there was no mention, and I found it quite unrealistic that he doesn't turn up. Especially in that last episode. I'm really surprised by it. But I think what is happening is that Bruce is, he's either fixing his suit or fixing the car, but also he's rethinking his approach to being Batman. He even says in the first film, maybe this is all coming to an end. Gordon's like, what is? And he says, the Batman. Like, the idea of the Batman is coming to an end, what it was supposed to be. But now it's changed, and to be honest, maybe because what the criminals saw on that day, Batman saving everyone, because it's reported on the Gotham News and everything that Batman is helping out, and he's being called a vigilante and everything. But if anything, he's a hero now to Gotham after the flood. So maybe the criminals are like, oh, he's just a guy, a vigilante in a suit. He's not this fear-mongering, shadowy character that we thought he was. So I think the criminals are kind of relaxed around Batman. But I think of the second one, it might be he's having to really pull his punches. Because I think in the first one, he is brutal, like he is. And I think he does have to think and everything in the second one. So it's going to be an interesting one. I think I've seen it on Twitter, but I think it's going to be like Spider-Man 2, basically. He's going to struggle being Batman in the current climate of Gotham City, where the mobs and the gangsters, the usual stuff, is kind of going down the drain, and now the Madhouse is taking over Gotham. It's going to be really interesting, man. Mm. I mean, it'd be really interesting seeing Bruce Wayne having to come up with a second identity. That's Bruce, the Bachelor Bruce Wayne. That'd be really interesting. that he's kind of he's kind of got Batman to a point, but he still needs to improve on being Batman. But now he has to really improve on being Bruce Wayne because of the state of the city and the corruption and everything. But all these villains are going to get in the way. This is the problem. Again, I think Batman is the inspiration for in this version, in this world of the Batman universe. I think he's going to be the inspiration for these villains, and yeah, I think he's going to struggle. That he is slightly responsible for what's going on in the city. I think that's my personal opinion. I've never seen that quote, and that is just like Matt Reeves knows what he's doing, man. He just fucking knows. It's so exciting. It's so cool having someone that really cares about this character and wants to explore different ways to represent them. Because again, Batman's been done to death. Let's be honest. The character will continue to be recycled for hundreds and hundreds of years because it's that interesting, and they'll always find little bits where they can go, there's a story. There's a good character development that's never been done before on screen. There's so much potential in these comments. I think Bruce is going to try and not be Batman, and he's just going to try and be Bruce Wayne, because even Alfred in the first one, I think somewhere along the line it's like, you need to be Bruce Wayne, and it's something like that. I might be thinking of Michael Caine, but I think Alfred is going to agree with him to let the Batman mantle down, and I think Bruce will for a good portion of the movie, and shows that it doesn't work, and then Alfred's going to go back on himself and say, do you know what, maybe sometimes the city, it needs a guy in tights. There might be something in that. I think I would love to see Andy Serkis's Alfred be more in this film, a bit like Michael Caine in the second one. I felt like they utilized him better, and especially in the third one. But it would be really interesting seeing Bruce kind of put the cowl down, hang it up, and then try and be Bruce Wayne, but knows he has to do both by the end of the film. And then the Batman Part 3, we're going to, by the end of it, get a fully fleshed out Batman / Bachelor Bruce Wayne / the real Bruce Wayne. It's going to be such an awesome trilogy. And at the same time, we're going to get these really cool stories in the Batverse involving the villains and other characters. Really exciting, man. I mean, it's funny because his Bruce Wayne's not great, and I remember talking to a friend of mine, and she said, I don't think he's a good Bruce Wayne. And I was like, but I think that's the point, is that he is very much being Batman when he's out of the cowl. and he needs to practice upon that. I think everyone could agree that, and I think that was the point of the film. And I think the second one's going to delve definitely deeper into, okay, how do I be a rich asshole? Or maybe tries to be a nice asshole and give money and everything, but sees that it's not working that simple. So he kind of has to balance that character of billionaire philanthropist Bruce Wayne. Who knows? Yeah, it was. I want to skip to the Scarecrow bit. Wow. Ugh. Is that bloody Gotham TV show? Jeez. So what Boba's going to go on about now is that James Gunn and Matt Reeves had a meeting, and they were just shooting the Penguin, and this was all in place, and then they decided to change it last minute. So quick turnaround. I don't know when Theo Rossi started filming the Penguin, but if it was quite a while, I think it was 6 months filming this show, maybe just a bit less. But if Theo Rossi wasn't in the mix until later, then it is possible to change the character and change their purpose, and that happens all the time in television, all the time. It's like that, especially movies. I was thinking, did they change it in the edit in post-production? Was it a case where they finished filming the Penguin, they were editing it, and then Matt Reeves and his writer were just like, I think it's the Scarecrow for the film, and we've got a better starting point for the film than we had in the TV show. Loads of things could have happened, but let Boba talk. I think it'll leave on Twitter, by the way. I think it's a piece of shit, and I get a lot of homophobic and racist and anti-immigration posts, and God, it's just become a cesspool of hate. We know. I'm going to be really honest. Stuff does get forgotten. It doesn't matter how good you are at your job and everything. Stuff can just be left in. Especially if they're doing recuts and everything to get around it. I did say to someone, like, it's not there in episode 2. And they said, but the plaque says his name. One of the cheapest graphics options is to re-implement a name on a plaque. It could have been Jonathan Crane. I also did say, because I haven't watched the show again, obviously. I'm waiting for the 4K Steelbook to come out, all £45. I'm waiting to see if we ever on screen visually see someone or him or anyone say the name Julian. Like, if that's the case, if I watch it and no one ever on screen mouths Julian Rush, then there is potential they filmed it him saying Jonathan Crane, and that he's let's do that now. Actually, that's what I want to do. I want to Sophia meets Julian. Oh God. No, yeah, it is. Wait, let me mouth it. Wait a minute. Jonathan Crane, Julian Rush. Julian Rush, Jonathan Crane, Julian Rush, Jonathan Crane. It's the same mouth movement. Julian Rush, Jonathan Crane. I'm gonna say it when muting myself. Ready? Have I just figured out that they re-ADR'd it? I'm gonna tweet Boba. Oh my God, Boba's on discussing film? Jeez. Anyway. Okay, wait. Let me try this. Okay, so this might be a weird video to put in this thread, but I have a theory that if they did change it during production and they re-ADR'd the Julian Rush character, who was originally Jonathan Crane, and they were like, we need to give him a new name, but obviously there's so many people that say Julian Rush in the show. Maybe they had to come up with a name that does the same mouth movement, so when they re-record it for ADR, additional dialogue recording, they could have easily done it. So I'm going to do it right now. So, ready? Jonathan Crane, Julian Rush. And then I'm going to mute myself and watch my mouth as I say both names. But I think I think I've just... If you say... Wait, Julian Rush... Jonathan Crane. Julian Rush, Jonathan Crane. Yeah, I'm posting that. Julian Rush, Jonathan Crane. Julian Rush, Jonathan Crane. Crane's a bit more Crane. Rush. Crane. Man, it looks like I've been drinking. I'm just like, yeah, it's because they mouthed it. I know what's going to happen. Matt Reeves is going to come on later tonight and be like, what the fuck are you all on about? Oh, man. But yeah, great video from Boba. I'm going to like that, actually. And it's crazy if Julian Rush is the Scarecrow, but I just doubt it. I just feel like they'd want... I don't know. I didn't think Julian Rush was very intimidating or anything, but I guess that's what Jonathan Crane is actually like. He's a bit of a weirdo. If you haven't checked out my penguin video, please do. That'll help a lot. I think I'm going to go, actually. No one's joined, so... But if you're watching back, thank you for watching back. I really appreciate it. And, yeah, have a good night. Have a good weekend. And weirdly, I'm going to be watching the Jake Paul fight tonight. So I wasn't expecting to do that on my Saturday night, but that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm very interested to see how it goes down. I hope Mike Tyson beats the living hell out of Jake Paul. But fingers crossed. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.